Okay, welcome to the weekend video. This is a weekend video, midweek video. This is Enda here. Uh, if you like what I do, check out bullwise.org. Sign up for nightly Elliott wave analysis. All right, I'm going to do a quick midweek video. This market is interesting enough in the short run, I think, to maybe even warrant 2 videos this week. After doing no videos for 2 weeks, but anyway, here we go. The move higher in Eurodollar and cable in the last week has kind of added to the mystique of what's going on here, I think. For the moment, sticking with the main pattern, I think I was kind of prognosticating on the relevance of a bullish run in Eurodollar. I was kind of confused with the action, but last week we kind of confirmed the bullish run, it seems, for now. So I don't want to get too caught up in this really because we may have gone too far too fast, I think, at the moment. But for the moment, we're looking at a wave 1 rally up. We should take out the previous wave B high, so that'd be like 112 or so, if we get there. And if we do get there, then the longer term pattern will come into play. But for the moment, we're still speculating. We're still well, the evidence is building, I suppose, to the upside. So far so good, I suppose. This could be viewed as a third of a third rally, and that's the acceleration higher last week. That's what I am viewing it as. And we'll see how this wave 3 plays out in the next few days. Okay, so there's still, I suppose in terms of the US, there's still 3 days trading left. We're still early early in the day on Wednesday in Europe, so you're not even open yet. You're not even awake yet over in the States. So when you see this later, we'll see how this third wave rally unfolds, let's say, this week. So still 3 more days to go here. We go on cable. You can see the similar kind of setup. We have broken above the previous fourth wave high, so that does add to the possibility that we are turning higher for longer here. The only kind of fly in the ointment here for me, it's like it's at the back of my throat and I can't seem to clear it, is the fact that we didn't break to a new low in wave 2. So that would be like what was that? The early January lows in wave 2. We did not break to a new low, so that'd be a running flat correction, which in a second wave is not great. But anyway, so far so good. We are turning higher, getting close to that wave 1 high again. The internal pattern seems to be breaking out in favor of a bullish, 5-wave pattern, but we haven't traced out 5 waves yet. This could still be a third wave, so you'd be talking 1, 2, 3. Hard to know whether that's. We have a slight crossover here between a fourth wave and a first wave, which again adds more kind of layers of complexity here. So, well, actually, on the hourly chart here, we didn't cross over, so we're clean on that one. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, expanded flat correction for wave 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 possible top forming in wave 5 of 3. There, in momentum-wise, we've done whatever this rally has intended to do. We've broken out above 2 trend channels on the short-term chart here. So if this, wave 5 has achieved what it should have achieved, so wave 3 should top out and we should head lower in wave 4 pretty soon, I think. Now, dollar yen is still lining up towards that bullish pattern. I'm sorry to say, we still have a pattern in play here, and I can't disregard that as long as it's there. So there's still something brewing here that I haven't figured out yet. If this is a wave, then we should head higher into a wave 3, and that was the idea. And we seem to have burned out whatever decline has been going on here. We seem to have burned out to the downside. We've hit the previous fourth wave low and the previous wave 1 low. We've hit the 60% retracement in wave 2. So we've got a 3-wave pattern lower. We've got 5 waves into wave A, a triangle, wave B, and then we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ending diagonal in wave C. And we extended in wave C to about 162% of wave A. So we have that ending diagonal pattern here in wave C. It's a pretty good one. So we've got 3 in wave 3, 3 in wave 4, 3 in wave 5. And we've turned higher. So we haven't broken above the previous wave 4 yet, but I'm kind of marking that B wave, internal B wave here at 150.20 as a signal that we may be, let's say, signaling that wave 1 of 1 is underway. So far we haven't confirmed anything, but the price is turning higher after all, burning out to the downside and building upward momentum. Upward momentum again. So it's been a sharp sell-off. It's probably overdone, at least in the short term anyway. So we're going to get a rally. We'll probably retrace half of this anyway. Even if it's only a corrective rally, we'll probably retrace half of the decline. So somewhere up around 155 should be aiming, at least. So that'll be up around the previous B wave high there. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so here's a daily chart in euro dollar, or sorry, in the Dow. Forgive me, still on currencies there. So far, so good. One thing that is on my mind, in the back of my mind, one little, let's say, a blind spot at the moment, even for me, and most definitely for me, most likely, is the fact that the recent action could be a culmination of a fourth wave. If this isn't the fourth wave low, previously back in, come on, give me my timer, back in early January, if this isn't the fourth wave low, break out to a new fifth wave high, almost, just about, then this could be a larger fourth wave decline. So it could be a larger 3-wave move. And so long as that wave 1 high holds, let's call it, 40,000. So long as 40,000 holds, then that's still a possibility. So I think we'll mark that in as a possible alternate for the moment. I would just watch out. Now, let's get you down here. An alternate fourth wave. If we break 40,000, I think that'll rule it out because we'll have broken the wave 1 high, and that's a no-no. Okay, so that's the daily count. We do have a top in place. We do have a possible B wave top in place, and we do have a pretty impulsive decline now. So we cannot rule it out that this is wave 1 down. Okay, so that's what I'm going with on the shorter term charts. We've got a wave 1 down. I do think we're pretty close to a low in wave 1 because we have retraced all of the previous fifth wave rally. So we've retraced back below the wave 4 high and we've broken the previous wave 1 high. So, that's enough to consider we're coming to a close in wave 1 and we should head higher in wave 2, over the next week or so. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how wave 1 culminates. Internally, you could still label this as a series of 1-2s, and then we're only heading into a third wave now. But for the moment, I'm let's say taking the cautious view because we've broken that previous fourth wave low, that we're probably closing out wave 1 pretty soon, if not now, pretty soon. And then I'm looking at the previous fourth wave, so somewhere up around 43,000, and up into that declining trend line for wave 2 when we do get about to a corrective rally. So we'll see between 42,900 and 43,500. Let's say. Okay, so far so good on the Dow. We're turning lower as I suggested in the previous video. Okay, so gold, we're still kind of hanging at a lower high. We haven't turned, as the pattern would suggest. We haven't followed the Dow or the, let's say, the more speculative markets down this week. But don't rule it out, because gold has just become a speculative tool, just like everything else has. Just look at the, end of day, what you call it, 1 day options, end of day close options market, and you'll see that it is like it's now 70% of the market or something stupid like that. So everything is just a vehicle at the moment. This is not a value play. This is not a long-term preservation of capital play. This is gold is going up, ride it higher. That's all that this is. That's all that markets ever are, and that's why markets turn. And the next one will be gold's going down, sell it. Markets are markets. They don't care. They'll try and make money on anything, and there's no loyalty, no love lost. So it's not a loyalty play or a wealth preservation play. So just keep that in mind. We haven't broken to a new high, so we're still holding a lower high. Still the possibility that we have a three-wave pattern up to complete, maybe, let's say, in a larger wave 2. Maybe we break to a very slight high above 29.30 and then turn lower. We'll see how this goes. Not calling it at the moment. I'm just going to let, like I wrote last night, I'm going to let the market kind of make a decision here. I know we're close to turning lower. This may not be it, but I think it's sooner rather than later. Okay, crude oil following along quite well this week. You can see the daily count. That was the long-term triangle we played with, what we were working on. And then we have a wave 1 and 2, and that was the 3-wave corrective lower high that came in early January. And that one worked out well. Straight 3 waves up to a lower high, and now we moved lower impulsively again. So we're back down in the long-term channel. If you want to keep an eye on that, the price is now back down in the long-term channel after refusing, creating a throwover in wave C of 2. We're back down into the long-term channel. So this is being taken as wave 3 of 5 now in play. So if we go to the 4-hour count, you can see that's the wave 1 down, wave 2 up, and wave 1 and 2 of 3. So I'm kind of expecting a second wave rally pretty soon. I won't make any, let's say on the 4-hour count here, we have retraced enough to suggest that wave 1 may be coming to a close. I'm still tracking a pattern lower in the hourly count, so this could still be wave 1 unfolding, I suppose. That's the best way to put it. And this would be wave 4, possibly wave 4 of 3 of 1, possibly just wave 4 of 1. We'll see how that plays out in the next few days. But I am noting on the 4-hour count here that we have retraced enough. Let's say this previous C wave rally has been retraced. The previous overall wave 2 rally has more or less been retraced. That's enough to call wave 1 more or less done here. So the next major move, I think, will be, once wave 1 is completed, the next major move will be wave 2, and we'll be back up above $70, somewhere around $73 in wave 2. Don't hold me to that. We haven't got any confirmation on that. We haven't even got confirmation of a low yet in wave 1. So the hourly count, you can see a possible third wave pattern here unfolding. If you want that, come to the nightly Elliott wave analysis, and we'll talk about that again tonight. But so far, so good. Possible triangle, and let's see how that plays out today, over the next couple of days. If we consolidate further this week, then that will be more like a triangle. The S&P is looking more impulsive to the downside as the days go on. So I'm actually looking at a larger pattern here in wave 1, and the lower degree support we kind of smashed down through the previous 4th wave at 56.90, and now I'm looking at the lower degree 4th wave at 15.90. So that initial decline would be all of 1,000 points, which is a lot. You could call this 4-hour count here. You could call it speculative at the moment. We have oversold in the short term. I don't know, whether this will continue lower. And the internal pattern here might display something else in the next few days. As this week close out, we might be able to track a whole 5-wave pattern lower by the end of this week. At the moment, I'm kind of looking at the third wave extension, wave 3 of 1. So, and we're still not finished that. So that'll be wave 1 of 3, 2 of 3, 3 of 3, maybe some sort of consolidation in 4 today and maybe tomorrow. And then wave 5 of 3 with step lower again towards, let's say, 54, 54, 50, low 54s, 54.20, 54.30, somewhere around there. I would suggest that as long as this wave 1 low, let's say as long as 5800 holds, then the larger wave 1 pattern is still in play. So we'll see how today plays out. The early pre-market, I don't know, is the pre-market over yet? 12 o'clock, 12:30, I think it is. That'll be 7, wouldn't it? 7:30 over there. We'll see. It looks like we're going to have a little bit of a bounce today. We'll see how it goes. I'm looking at a fourth wave within wave 3. And let's see if the price can hold below 5,700, let's say, today. Okay, let's move on. Silver is kind of throwing up another wrench in its pattern. You see we've got this ABC pattern up wave 2, and we've got a nice retracement down in a possible wave 1, and maybe 3 waves up in wave 2 at the moment. Still holding a lower high, but I'm kind of leaving this one for the market to decide today. It looks like we'll either break or we'll, go reverse down into wave 3 today. So let's see how that plays out. Okay, that's about let's go to the Nasdaq. Been tracking the Nasdaq a little bit better in the last few days. I think this does look quite impulsive, the decline as a wave 1. Now, unlike the Dow, we have broken the previous 4th wave and the previous wave 1. So, we've declined enough to say that this previous 5th wave rally is pretty much done because we've broken that wave 1 high. We haven't broken the previous support, so that'll be wave 4, and that'll be 17,260, around there, 17,200. We're still a way off that, so not looking even for that to be broken in wave 1. So we're most likely going to see a bounce into a second wave, as I mentioned in the Dow, and most likely, let's say we'll wait till next week before that happens. We may still have a little bit more pressure. Excuse me, a little bit more left in the tank this week. Okay, so I think that's it. I always end these sessions with a presentation of the gospel, and the gospel just means good news. There are the Muslims of the world say that Jesus was given the gospel without explaining what the gospel is. The gospel means good news. Jesus was given the gospel, and Muhammad was given the Quran, and that was the final word of God. But it's not the word of God at all. But anyway, Jesus was given the gospel, and you brush over that. Somebody's listening to this. I know that. Somebody is listening to this that needs to hear it. You brush over that without understanding what gospel means. Gospel is just Greek. It's a Greek word for good news. And what is the good news? The good news is the Messiah himself. I mean, even the Muslims of the world will attest that Jesus is the Messiah without understanding what Messiah is, who Messiah is, and what Messiah was always supposed to do. The Messiah was promised in Genesis 3:15, where the seed of the woman will come and crush your head. You will bruise his heel and he will crush your head. After the sin in the garden, God promised the Messiah. The Messiah was after Adam and Eve broke the relationship, fellowship with God could not happen anymore because there was sin. So they were kicked out of the garden. Sin existed between God and man, his creation. So sin had to be paid for. What's the first thing that God did for